What's good, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Boz, and today we are reacting to the episode that solved Stewie's paradox. See, this guy is called the Theorizer. I've seen a few of his videos before, like mainly the ones on Mort from Madagascar. I've seen a few of those, and some of the other Madagascar theories as well. This guy genuinely, when he talks, he kind of makes sense. So yeah, he's definitely entertaining, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for this one, and let's get straight into it.
Why is Stewie Griffin so smart? Stewie's not supposed to exist. Literally, he's a walking, talking space-time anomaly.
Yeah.
Family Guy has an episode nobody ever talks about that kind of secretly answered all of the questions in the show. Why Stewie is smart, why Peter is dumb, why Brian can talk, why other babies act like adults, the true nature.
It's an animation. It's a cartoon. It's a made up thing that Seth MacFarlane and his sick brain made up. That's what it is. That's why.
Of flashbacks, and maybe even who Rupert truly is. And right here,
Rupert's a teddy bear. Actually, I'm with him on the Rupert part. Rupert is very, very, very creepy. I don't know. There's a few words that you could use. I agree with the Rupert part though.
right now, you'll get answers and so much more. Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and before we connect the dots, let's recall the episode I'm actually talking about. For those that don't remember, Season 9, Episode 16 of Family Guy, Stewie and Brian mess around with their time machine and end up accidentally warping outside of time and space itself. They're basically floating within an endless white void where they can create laws of physics and do anything with their minds. But they don't want to stay there, so they manage to create laws of physics and
Brian's
do
mouth.
anything with their
How did he fit his football head in his mouth?
minds, but they don't want to stay there, so they manage to overload Stewie's return pad and blast themselves back into the universe. After fixing it,
In this episode, don't they like find out that they created the Big Bang or whatever? Like, I'm pretty sure that that's what happened.
Stewie discovers that the explosion imprint matches identically to the cosmic background of the entire universe, meaning their explosion was the Big Bang. When Stewie overloaded his return pad in an empty void, it triggered the entire blast of space-time that created the universe itself. In other words, they traveled back to before the universe, blew it up, and Stewie is canonically the real god of the Family Guy world. To hammer this point home, the remainder of the episode shows the extent of this impact. You see, Stewie's half-brother nemesis Bertram discovers Stewie's machine and manages to trace their genetics back to a specific ancestor that led to Stewie being born, but not Bertram. Bertram's plan is to kill this ancestor before they can produce the offspring that led down to Stewie. This ancestor happens to be Leonardo da Vinci himself. So Bertram enters the machine and goes back to kill him. As you might expect, their entire present reality starts eroding into an abyss of destruction, because if Stewie were never born in the first place, then he'd never have been able to create the universe like he did earlier in the episode. They rush into the machine and go to stop Bertram, but Da Vinci still dies in the process. And yet, everything still exists. Stewie can only guess that because they're still in the past, he must be about to do something else, something here. He must do something that preserves it somehow. And his brilliant idea? He sends Brian back to the present, then extracts his own DNA and sticks it in Da Vinci's girlfriend so that his own genes ensure the survival of his own genes. Like a paradox. Then, to get back to the present, he creates a cryogenic freezing chamber, locks himself inside, instructs people to ship it on a boat to America and bury it deep underground at specific coordinates, while instructing the Vatican to hold on to a letter from him for 500 years before delivering it to modern-day Quahog at the exact time where, in the present, Brian then receives it. He sees the coordinates are underneath their basement and digs up the buried pod, which has had a frozen Stewie suspended beneath their house for 5 centuries inside.
So this is like a Steve Rogers, like Captain America situation, right? Or any other movie, like space movie, whatever. So Stewie's like 500 years old as well. Plus on top of the fact that he's God, plus on top of the fact that he's evil and stuff. Okay.
Happy ending. And I believe that this one episode directly gives individual answers to each and every single mystery in the show. People I present with the Griffin Paradox. Here comes the mind f***. Stewie Griffin has a history of being smart, evil, British, and weirdly experienced in the world. I have come to the conclusion that the Family Guy universe is trying to bend things and shape itself so that it ensures Stewie's existence in order to ensure its own, as his machinery is its source and true nature. Stewie's machine that warps space and time was the blueprint for space itself and time itself, as it was the Big Bang. What's more is that Stewie and Brian's consciousness briefly existed before reality did and serve as the universe's blueprint for consciousness, hence them blasting through it. This is why Brian, in particular, ended up being born as such an intelligent dog. Stewie is such an intelligent baby, and these two are the main characters of their show and universe. Simply put,
They really are the main characters, aren't they? Also, just make a Stewie and Brian show. They are kind of the main characters. They've kind of just taken over, right? At the end of...
Stewie is smart because the
end, I'll,
universe
go back.
manipulated probabilities to make it fulfill the paradox of its own existence. Something was always going to happen to ensure it. Something will always happen. Everything points in favor of Stewie. This is not luck or plot armor, but fate. This ripples out into the family tree, leading Stewie to descend from one of the most intelligent minds in history, Leonardo da Vinci, who also looks just like him
Stewie,
for clear
yeah.
reasons. In a sense, this is Stewie. The whole reason the universe didn't let Stewie disappear when Da Vinci died is because Stewie writes reality by being his own progenitor. He isn't just a paradox of the universe, but also of his own bloodline, which was orchestrated to such a specific degree that it allowed him to be his own ancestor, filling gaps and fulfilling the necessary circumstances that let him become the most intelligent, aware baby ever, even in the womb. With this blueprint in mind, I believe most of Stewie's flashbacks are actually flashes to other detailed lives, placeholders where he has existed in one form or another, and this was built to keep him alive in the event that the main Stewie died or was erased. Stewie is essentially having flashbacks to actual previous lives. We know this is probable because he and other sperm are conscious, knowing full well of the details of Earth. This is all why Stewie's genetic paradox and universal paradox take place in the same episode. It's the same thing. He is evil and hates Lois because she birthed him into a stupid family, albeit a necessary one, and he was painfully conscious of every waking moment from before he was even conceived. His intelligence is so high because others in his family were programmed as stupid to make room for him, explaining Peter's IQ being removed and placed in Stewie. This is why Peter and Extension Chris are so dumb. When I said this explains the show, I meant it. Now, this isn't just one episode either. It reflects over to another, very similar episode in Season 12 that explains his British behavior. Stewie is mad at his stupid family, so he time travels back and tries to break up Lois and Peter just before they could conceive him. His soul is immediately reborn into a very smart British family that works with powerful scientists. It wouldn't let him be undone, not truly. This is why it let him go back in the other episode too without erasing him. The universe needs him. It's like the rules of time bend to his will because they do. In the therapy episode, he reveals he's not even truly British, he just idolizes it, and his rebirth cements that. The universe needs him. His accent is tied to his soul. With all this talk of Stewie ensuring his own existence, it also dawned on me where his British fanaticism enters and exits this time loop. And that answer, I believe, is found in his soulmate. It would appear Stewie and the universe have been trying to ensure some future legacy, perhaps in the form of the actual God character. Let me begin with his neighbor. Susie Swanson is the infant daughter of Joe and Bonnie. You'll recall Bonnie being pregnant with her for like 7 years throughout the show.
It was 18 years, bro. It was literally 18 years. Do you remember when Quagmire said, it's hard to believe that she's already 18. Giggity. Yes.
After she's born, we occasionally hear her inner thoughts. She is voiced by Patrick Stewart, playing Patrick Stewart. Yes, inside of her head, we hear her inner monologue saying, "This is Patrick Stewart. How are you enjoying the program so far?" This happens many times throughout the show. He says various things in her head, and she was born with a wheelchair. I was about to say she's Professor X or something, but no. Stewie's actually met Patrick Stewart himself in another episode shortly after Susie's birth. He transported the entire cast of Star Trek into his bedroom. I'm not sure yet what this Patrick Stewart has to do with Susie exactly, but I think it's all tied in because of how close together it all is, and more importantly, it sent me even further down this rabbit hole of baby girls, possibly even in the area of Susie's delayed birth. His relationship with Susie is one of love at first, but she doesn't like him. If the world is trying to orchestrate soulmates to orchestrate his destiny, then we need to look further. In Season 3, a bunch of British people come to town, and Stewie befriends a little Cockney girl and tries teaching her to be posh and polite, eventually succeeding.
I remember that.
The result, however, is that she becomes angry and hateful and evil like he is, and seeks to also kill Lois after she blames her for the hanging of her father. We never see...
Whoa, what? Wait, who blames who? Hold up.
The result, however, is that she becomes angry and hateful and evil like he is, and seeks to also kill Lois after she blames her for the hanging of her father. We never see her...
The hanging of her father or the hanging of Lois's father? Pretty sure he said her father, but...
Again, despite this plot thread being left wide open on purpose, but he basically taught her his ways like a spreading virus, and I believe we might have something of an answer to this in the episode where Stewie's soulmate meddling comes full circle, in the one, the only, Penelope. Penelope is one of my favorite guest characters on the entire show, and she also goes by Mrs. Stewie. She has appeared only once, is voiced by Cate Blanchett, and has made a huge impact because she is Stewie's one true match. She is an extremely vicious, extremely intelligent, malevolent baby from England that moved to Quahog in Season 10, seemingly out of nowhere. She doesn't seem to have any parents, but she said she beheaded her own mother. She seems to have taken charge of her
Dang. You're like 2 years old doing that?
own life with no adults around and achieved things Stewie can only dream of. They fall deeply in love, and their connection persists even past the end of the episode when they part on conflicting terms. It's because she was desperately trying to kill Brian, who she saw standing in the way for, well, so many reasons. I bring her up because she is the perfect antithesis to Stewie, the universe's attempt at creating a perfect foil, a female Stewie parody, so much so that I seriously think she could, in some way, be Eliza. But I still have very little evidence for all this. It's just that it's important.
If she's Eliza, then... Nah, I'm not going to talk. I'll
to mention, because it's all in line with the structure of the show, and may give insight into Stewie's single biggest lingering mystery, his companion Rupert the teddy bear. So you may think Stewie's true soulmate is his imaginary friend Rupert, but that's not necessarily the case. Rupert is an imaginary friend, not a real person. They primarily use Rupert as kind of a mechanism to serve the running gag kind of mystery of whether Stewie's gay or not. While in the main plot, he's been with women. You know, aside from Brian impregnating him, which is, I'm not even going to...
Yeah, please don't.
No, that disturbingly could be connected to all this. I don't even want to think about it. However, Rupert is nonetheless more important than all these people, despite not being seen nearly as much lately, because he serves as Stewie's reflection. It's not just an imaginary friend. I strongly believe Rupert is God, not the character.
Huh? So say that again?
Friend, I strongly believe Rupert is God, not the caricature for cutaways per se, but the real deal. He is the entire manifestation of the universe's subconscious from Stewie, all lives condensed into one to give Stewie advice and information from his deeper self so he can grow as a person. This is the universe's direct hotline to Stewie and Stewie's own subconscious, all the same thing. This is the role of real imaginary friends too, subconscious teaching. The only thing is, remember, Stewie's subconscious is the universe, thus Rupert is God. In short, Stewie is smart because he created the universe and his own genetic bloodline, paradoxically ensuring it on purpose and accidentally. This is also why Brian can talk, Peter is dumb, and the flashbacks are so prevalent. They are the universe asserting itself. To communicate back to himself and fulfill his destiny, Stewie and the universe have tried engineering soulmates that include Eliza, Penelope, and possibly Susie Swanson, with Rupert being the divine imprint communicating back through Stewie's subconscious to direct him towards his fate as ruler of the world. Now we just have to solve the other worlds. So subscribe. There will be more. Join the Patreon for updates.
What was it? Rupert is God. Okay. I might have to do some research on that. But yeah, it was a good episode from Theorizer. Thanks for that. Really interesting, to be honest. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you want more, please comment down. I'll definitely try and get some more in. I reckon we do a whole Mort series, because he did a whole thing on Mort, bro. Oh yeah, here we go. Mort. Who's that? Yeah, you got Mort there. Mort, like, yeah. We definitely have to do a whole Theorizer Mort series. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Like, subscribe if you want. Share it around, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.